Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you all are doing well and having a lovely day, morning, afternoon, whatever you're doing. I hope it's going well for you. Today, I want to talk about coming back to yourself after feeling unsound in yourself, regulating your nervous system, um, and how to get yourself feeling grounded after a busy couple weeks or busy day or I don't know if this is just me. I know it won't just be me, but like when you have a really busy day and I guess it's the feeling of not knowing what to do with yourself, and it's kind of like, so you have a really amazing, not busy as in like work busy, just busy as in like really super exciting, like something you've been looking forward to for a while, or just something that's really like made you exhilarated, right? That'll happen, and then you're on the way back home, and it just drops. Like everything drops. Or maybe you on the way home you're fine, but then you get home and it drops. And it's just the contrast between 100 to 0 or like 50 to 25 type thing. And like for me that's so it happens a lot, and it's really difficult to get back just feeling regular because it's the drop that's such I don't know, it's just really, I really feel it, and it's like I know it happens and I know there's things I can do to prevent it, but it's like, okay, when you are feeling that, what's things I can do? Because I think if anyone can relate, it's something it is so unique to everyone, but these things might help. And I think it's just the practice of knowing what to do for yourself in those situations. Because, yeah, I think everyone will relate to this in one way or another, whether you're feeling ungrounded in yourself because you've been out of routine for a couple of days, or maybe you're feeling ungrounded because, yeah, whatever it is. So I had like a really busy Sunday? Saturday. I had a really busy Saturday, and it was so exciting. I went to a running race. It was such good vibes, honestly. It was immaculate, and it genuinely filled up my cup so much. And then I was on the way home and I was still feeling amazing. Like I was looking through all the videos, I was editing them. It was just such good vibes. I got home, it was fabulous. And then it was actually my granddad's birthday. So we had like a meal. I was still feeling amazing. And then the evening hit, and and just so like under and overstimulated at the same time. I was kind of just hit with that. And it was kind of just like caught in my throat, and I was like, okay, I feel absolutely awful. And it's just the feeling of so uneasy with yourself, because it's just kind of that feeling where, when you have coffee, I don't know, I know coffee suits some people, but it does not suit me. I just shoot up and I shoot back down. If you have a coffee, oh, pre-workout or whatever, you have the coffee and you just shoot back up. You shoot up, you're like, yeah, feeling amazing, and you just drop. It's that feeling. And it's like, how do I get from that feeling to feeling regulated? So these are some things that I know get me feeling better, and maybe you can find a way that doing these works for you, if that makes sense. So one thing I've done is try get back into routine as soon as possible. I know especially after like a night out, concert, whatever, for me, I used to, well, I think everyone does this. Like, if you can, you'll sleep in. Fine, fabulous. You feel like you got your hours in, so you get back late. I've started waking up at my same time, so I'm getting straight back into routine. Not necessarily making myself do the things, but waking up at the same time. So whenever you do something exciting or big, whatever, just try and get back into routine, um, and keep your sleep schedule the same. I think that's really important. If you don't already have a regular routine, like sleep routine, I guess that won't be too helpful. But for me, I do have a very regular like sleep pattern. So for me, that was a really big one, and it really helped actually. It kind of just got me back down, and it was brilliant. So that was one thing that really helped me, having a regular sleep routine and following that, not necessarily making yourself do the most active things at that time, but just waking up and keeping your body clock going. Another thing is turning off devices. It's so hard, and it's like kind of just getting yourself back into routine as easy as possible. Like not necessarily like looking back at pictures of the time, like kind of just appreciating where you are in the moment. And the thing that I find helps most, so the third thing, is feeling present within yourself, getting as in the moment as you possibly can, because I think it might almost be when you are in the moment of having such a fabulous time, it's like, oh, and then it's like maybe when you're not in the moment and it kind of hits you more because like you've been from being so present, so insanely like there, and then it's like you feel like, oh wait, I'm not there anymore. And I think that's almost the drop. So I think trying to feel present when you're feeling ungrounded and like uneasy with yourself is really important, because yeah, I guess it reminds you where you are in the moment and you're not focusing on the past, or yeah, and just like letting what happened be, I think, super important as well. And I think all these things will differ depending on your routine, lifestyle, and everything, and how you cope. But I think feeling present is so important when we're feeling that, because I think the root cause of it is like when we're reminiscing in old times, it's like we're either envying that moment, wishing we were there now, or thinking how we could have changed it or whatever. And it's like that moment is beautiful and you can go back to it. But if you're feeling uneasy with yourself, let yourself feel where you are now and then come back to it when you're more stable, your nervous system is more relaxed. And I think that's really important to practice. Um, and yeah, so moving on to like nervous system regulation, it's something that I feel like so many people don't place importance on. And it's like if you start looking out for when you feel your nervous system is going a bit crazy, you'll know when to catch it and you'll know what to do and when to do something about it, because our nervous system does it it keeps us going. And I guess it kind of, yeah, it regulates us, and it tells us how we should feel, how we should think, and everything about it. So it's so important that we keep it happy and we know what it's doing. So when we can feel it, so like when you feel yourself, when you feel anxiety building within you, what are those things that you can do to get your nervous system back down? What are those things you can do that calms you, relaxes you, and just like you can just have a big sigh of relief? Whether that's doing some movement, taking some deep breaths, um, just like sitting down, grounding yourself, removing yourself from a busy situation, or literally just taking 10 seconds to close your eyes and reset and be present with yourself. And I think when you learn the things that suit you and can get you back to feeling that, it's such a good tool to have. And I think it's something that we should all try and get from ourselves, because the more we can do that and the more we can practice it, the better we'll know ourselves and the better we can handle those situations and the more connected we can be to ourselves, which is always the goal. And yeah, and I think also understanding what sets off our nervous system. Like I am fully aware when I have a day that makes me feel a lot, that can be like a good thing, like that I'm feeling a lot. I know I'm gonna drop like when I get back. Like I know that. And it's almost like recovering from it. It's like you feel like it's a thing of like you don't feel like you should recover from such a fun day, but you kind of have to, because it's like it's such a big, and it honestly took me like 2 days to get me feeling, I guess, back to normal, because it's like, oh, I don't know, it's interesting. I would want to understand it better, but I don't feel I do. And it's like, it's interesting. Well, I guess it is. Yeah, the best way to explain it is like when you have a cup of coffee, and you shoot up from the caffeine and then you just drop. But then I guess I know some people like it does just like kind of fizzle out. But for some people, they'll shoot up and then drop. For me, that's how caffeine works for my body. So I don't have caffeine. Try not to. But if I do, it just does that. So it doesn't benefit me whatsoever. Like it just makes me feel more tired at the end. And I feel like that's kind of what a fun day does. Like it gives me so many endorphins, so much like happiness. Like, but then I feel like the contrast is so different, and it just makes me feel, yeah, it's very overwhelming. So and then obviously like it sets off my nervous system, and I feel like my body just goes into shock. I guess maybe that's a good way to explain it. So I feel like this is just to help people know how to regulate themselves, and the importance of having self regulating practices. Knowing what to do and how to regulate yourself is so important. Um, yeah, it's important to know what regulates you, because you need to feel connected to yourself and in control of your own body, as you are always going to be with yourself. I also want to talk about the importance of having a creative outlet, which I think I've kind of gained, I guess, over the past couple months, definitely, maybe the past like year, or like 2024 onwards. Um, Because I've basically literally in the past week, I've started doodling in my journal. Also, can I talk about something? I've nearly finished my journal. I've never finished I don't know if this sounds like I've never finished a journal before, right? Because I'll have my yearly journal. And I've always done bullet journals, so I've never just let myself have a journal and write in it. Um, because I don't feel that ever benefited me. So I'd always like have structured like prompts, what to write, what to, I guess, draw or whatever. So it's never been free. But this year, I was like, look, I'm just gonna give myself a journal. I partially just couldn't be bothered to like write it all out. So I was like, I'm just gonna write and I'm gonna try and write a page every week because I was kind of like, I don't think I need to write a page every day anymore. I don't think that was serving me. I didn't think that was helping me. And I didn't think it was what I needed. And I didn't. So that was important. So my journal was just like a free journal. And I think the reason it's the first time I've ever finished it is because, like, with a bullet journal, I'd never had free writing to write. I don't know. I never just let myself write freely. So I didn't have the space to write, like, fill up, I guess. So I've nearly filled it, and we're like just over halfway through the year. So I need to buy a new journal, which honestly, anyone who journals knows how exciting that time is. So that's very exciting. But with this journal, I've started doodling and doing like really cute drawings. And it actually stemmed from because I'm a big poster girly. My whole bedroom from about like a month ago was completely covered. But I woke up one day and I was like, I'm feeling a bit cluttered. And I don't feel like a lot of these fit with me. I don't think they align with me. So I just ripped, didn't rip. I took all the ones very carefully that I didn't want any more down. I'm just looking at my walls. They are very bare. They're naked. But on the wall that I have a wall full of quotes. So that wall was full, and I just took down all the quotes that I didn't feel represented me, or I felt I needed when I was young, like not younger, when I needed 6 months ago, but I don't need anymore. But I kept the ones that align with me and make me feel inspired, and I almost felt like I was swimming in them because I had so many, and it's like, where do I look? So I narrowed it down to the ones where I'm like, okay, I want to read those. Like out of any ones, I know I want to read those, and it's very nice, and I feel like it's very back to me. Anywho, and I was like, okay, I need to start decorating these because I left it for about like 2 months, and I was like, my walls look boring. I want to decorate them again. So I was like, you know what? I want to put my own artwork on there, and I'm not a naturally good drawer, or I can't paint. I can draw. That's it. I can actually draw if I follow a video or like a picture. I can draw. I'm not very good at like just drawing from my head, but I can draw. I'm not gonna say I can't because I can, but I'm not an. So I just started. I was like, look, I'm going to create my own artwork, and I'm going to let it be whatever it is. That's completely fine. And I really did. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to just draw quotes because that's something that comes easily to me. Poetry comes easy to me. Like connecting words come easy to me. So I thought I'm going to string along a little sentence, and then I'm just gonna see whatever colors come to me, whatever shapes come to me. And I quite literally did that. And I feel like that is a creative thing. And I know some people really struggle with creativity. So it's like whatever comes, think about things that come easy to you. Maybe putting colors together comes easy to you. Make a pattern of colors, and then, or maybe shapes come easy to you. So put shapes together. Maybe words do, maybe patterns do, maybe whatever. Well, I don't know, like there's so many ways to be creative. Maybe editing does, maybe putting videos together does, maybe music does, maybe tidying does, maybe organization does, maybe making jewelry does, maybe tidying. I guess that's a form of being creative, like organizing. Um yeah, whatever at fashion is like be that I would say that's a really good creative outlet for me. Anyway, I'm going on a little tangent, but it's okay, it's related. So I let myself just do whatever I felt like doing. It took me about an hour. I used some like tape just to make like cool shapes. I drew dinosaurs because I love dinosaurs right now. And I'm looking at it right now. It says, I have no interest in maintaining your perception of me. And then it's got two dinosaurs, there's loads of colour. Kind of looks like two dinosaurs have been playing paintball, to be fair, but like with positive affirmations. That's the vibe it's giving. And it honestly slays so hard. But yeah, and then I was like, okay. And then the next day happened, and I was like, I want to do another one. So I was on my way to Brighton, and I just did a little doodle, and it's so cute. And I did not realize I could do that. And I did look at pictures, but I just came up. I drew a little T-Rex, and then I drew a little frog, and it's a flying frog with wings with a little magic wand. And then I give the T-Rex a tote bag and a pearl necklace, and it's so cute. You're really getting the details here. So I drew that, and then I kept on drawing, and I did one on the way home, and then I did one the next day, and I did one yesterday. So that's been my creative outlet, and I think it's so important to have one because it almost felt like it had been trapped in me, and I just wasn't allowing myself to do it, which is interesting because I feel like I do give myself creative outlets because I journal a lot, I do poetry, um, and I think, as I said, fashion, I think is a big one for me. Just allowing myself to like string together outfits that feel very me and feel like it's representing how I feel and how I perceive myself, if that makes sense. When I do create outfits that I feel represent me, it's really nice and it's a really good outlet for me. Also movement's a really good creative outlet, and I think dance as well. Just like dancing in my bedroom and like making like shapes in my body and just moving. And I think, yeah, having an outlet for anything really is so important because the more we have trapped within us, the more we have in us, like the more we're thinking about, the more we're remembering, the more we feel we're going to get so cluttered, and we're not meant to be cluttered. Our don't need to hold so much information. We need to empty that recycling bin. And I think when that gets full, like we have a recycling bin in our minds, and when that gets full, it's like, okay, well that's going to spill out into the important stuff, and the important stuff is now all dirty and it doesn't look very nice and it's getting muddled up with this stuff that we want to forget or the stuff we don't need or the stuff that doesn't help us. And then the stuff that we want to remember, that the stuff that we love, the stuff that makes us us, is getting confused with the stuff that we don't like and we don't need. And I think is maybe put it into words for some people who don't know how to explain it. So like when we start doing things that don't feel like us, or we start feeling like, oh, why did that happen? Or why am I doing that? Or why do I feel like this? It's like maybe we're feeding ourselves unconsciously these things that we don't believe, but they have nowhere else to go because we're not allowing them to go. And I think almost songs, so like some of my favorite, like some songs, they have really sad meanings, I guess, but they sound awesome. So I don't know, like a lot of, yeah. So it's like that was their outlook. Like the artist who wrote those songs, that was their outlook at that time. They needed to release that, and that's now in that song, and it sounds beautiful, but that was their feeling, and now like they can listen to it and they're like, oh, I don't feel that anymore. And it's interesting because I heard this a little while ago, and it's like, okay, if you watch a sad show, you feel sad. Like I feel like everyone can agree with that. So it's like if you listen to a song that has a meaning behind it, I feel, for me personally, my body takes that on and I feel like I adopt that, but I don't want to because if I'm listening to a sad song, I don't want to adopt that. Don't be wrong, I love a good sad song, but like I'm saying, if it's a pop song that's masked with really sad lyrics, I hate listening to those because I feel like I'm giving my mind and body mixed signals. That's my personal opinions. Obviously, that's just me. But I've just been conscious of that, so I'm aware of that, and I feel my body gets affected and my mind gets affected, but that's just me and that's my experience, so it's going to be very different for the next person. But with that, yeah, I think also I've just like, yeah, I think it's just so important to have a little clear out um every so often and just kind of flick through your mind and what you're clinging on to, and understanding, is that you have I just adopted that? Is that something when I don't even know how or when that came into my brain, but it is there for some reason. um I think that's really important, just to have a little flick through and remember who we are and like who we actually are. And I think we all should be encouraged to really truly do that and really truly understand ourselves. And I don't think anyone is given enough space to do that. And if you do feel like that, that's incredible. And I'm so happy for you. But like, I really hope everyone listening to this right now feels that maybe they could give themselves an hour to really truly understand themselves. Whenever this hour is, whether it's the hour before you go to bed, the hour when you wake up, your lunch break, your dinner, or just some spare hours on the weekend, just try and get to understand yourself a bit better. Like, write down things that you love, things that light you up, like sayings you like, songs you like, but what's actually you, and get to the core of you. Because I don't think enough of us know ourselves. Because, I think we are made up of so many people that we love, like spend time around the everything. And I think we can lose ourselves in that. That's not a bad thing. I think it's beautiful that we are a mixture of the people that we surround ourselves with and the culture that we live in. But I think it's also important to remember who we are and that we are our own people. Although we can be influenced by other people, we need to know who we are, because that's what makes us unique, and we don't need to mold into other people to please other people or just to feel like we belong, because you belong as you are, and you don't need to change yourself to fit in, because then you're just molding into something that isn't you. But I think, yeah, I think that's really super important. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. I really enjoyed it. I liked speaking about today's topics. And yeah, I'm just thinking about music. Oh my god. Okay, last episode I said about ask someone you love or your friend or whatever, what's something that's lit up your soul. I'm going to turn this into my little thing. What is something, okay, everyone listening to this right now, take a minute, take a minute. What is something that has lit up your soul? It doesn't have to be big. It could be you had a really lovely cup of water. It could be that you moved country. It could be that you saw a friend you hadn't seen in a year. It could be that you saw a bird that was absolutely beautiful. It could be you got a really nice bit of sunlight, or you cleaned out your sock drawer. Whatever it is, think about it. Let yourself know. Say it out loud. Say it in your head. What's one thing that lit it? Okay. What has lit up my soul? I would. Oh, I'm thinking actually. Oh my god, yeah, that's why I came on to this. Yeah, I made it. Okay. So I went to I think I said at the start of the episode, I went to a running race. It was the on the run club race, and oh my god, the playlist there was actually to die for. Actually to die for. Like, I honestly felt on cloud nine. The endorphins were through the roof. So I made myself a playlist. It's Spotify playlist. It's called Funsy Dancy Boogie Music. With the little like dance man emoji, and what else is the emoji? I think it's the sunshine emoji. It honestly made my week. And now when I wake up, I play it and I just feel on top of the world. That's what's lit up my soul this week. This is your sign. Make a new playlist that feels like you, that feels authentically you, because that is so important. So I hope you all feel like you found that playlist this week. I hope you all took something from this episode, and yeah, I'm sending so much love, genuinely. Yeah, so much love.